Aquarius. How are y'all doing? Welcome to the next teaching out of my book, The 12 Gates of Healing. It is available on Amazon in this 8.5 by 11 workbook size paperback, also on Kindle. And we are going through it chapter by chapter, key by key, exercise by exercise, so that you can get a better understanding of the concepts contained in the book. Now, if you need healing, this is the book for you. It is a 12-step program, and I have done this myself. And I didn't realize as I was going through it that I was kind of walking through gates. And then earlier this year, the universe started talking to me about it as a 12-step program. Gates, keys, exercises, and told me I needed to write this book. So I did. And here we are. Okay, like I say in every video, if you need this healing journey in your life, but you're financially unable to afford the $15 for the paperback book, just send me an email. My email address is right there. And give me your name and address, and I will get one in the mail to you ASAP. Okay? Yeah. And if you have any questions, if you need some guidance, some clarification, if you have any comments, you can also email me and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Okay, yesterday we started with gate 5, which is the record gate, and it was a little bit heavy. And everything in this gate is going to be heavy. So prepare yourself. Yesterday we talked about you can't heal what you're unaware of, and then we asked the universe to help us identify our wounds. Today, second key, you need to process the emotions you are feeling. So let's get right into that. Suppressing emotions, it's a surefire way to make yourself sick. I will tell you. Doctors will agree with that. You have to purge and you have to vent. It is scientifically proven that it is much healthier to express yourself freely when you are feeling any emotion, whether it be anger or joy, sadness, anything. Anything you're feeling, you need to deal with it in the moment. We, as a society, are taught from a very young age to suppress our emotions. If a child is upset and crying, the parents might yell, "If you don't stop that crying, I'll give you something to cry about." Unfortunately, because of my upbringing, before I was on this healing path, I said the same thing to my children. And other hurtful comments along the same line. If a child is angry and throws a temper tantrum, the parents often punish them and tell them that it is unacceptable behavior. Guilty as charged. It was certainly how I was raised, and I even did those things to my children before I understood how damaging that type of parenting can be. And I quickly changed my approach to parenting once I realized what I was doing was not good. So learning to express emotions in a healthy way is the key. We should teach all of our children this lesson. When you are going through the steps of walking through this gate, take the time to express any emotions that come up in healthy ways. I think one of the healthiest ways is through journaling, but, you know, I'm a writer, so what are you going to say? So let's talk about what some healthy ways are of expressing how you feel. So when you are angry, yell. Don't yell at people. Yell into the void. Don't yell at yourself. Simply stand in an isolated place and scream at the sky. A lot of people call that screaming or yelling into the void. Let all the rage that you are feeling of your past trauma or anything that's going on in the moment come out. I don't recommend kicking trees because I did that once and broke a toe. But I have done this many, many times. I have gone out into my yard, or if I had a garage, or sat in my car, taken a drive, and just screamed and raged and ranted and got it all out. It was very liberating. Another way to express anger or any other emotion is to write about it, like I said. When I was dealing with the abuse my father inflicted on me, my therapist suggested that I write him a letter, which I never planned to send. He was in full-blown Alzheimer's at the time that this suggestion was made to me, so it wouldn't have mattered if I'd given it to him or not. I wrote the letter, poured out all the rage, pain, and fury that I had within me. I called him every vile name I could think of. I even wished death upon him, suffering, violence, whatever I could think of that would be appropriate punishment for the man who had, in essence, robbed me of my childhood. It was so fucking liberating. I cried while writing it. I raged while writing it. I screamed at the sky. I pounded my fists on the desk, and I felt a lot better after. I wasn't totally healed, obviously. That took some more time, but I was definitely better. And then I went outside and I burned the letter. As the smoke from the fire rose into the night sky, I let it go. All the rage, bitterness, unforgiveness, and pain, I let it all go. I had to do this many times. It wasn't a one and done thing. I had to do it multiple times for the next several months after the first time. And after I did it several times, I finally felt total release. And all of that happened before he died. And it took a lot for me to extend forgiveness to this monster. But I knew that the forgiveness wasn't for him, it was for me. And for my own freedom. You know, when you forgive someone, it cuts the tie that you have to them. As long as you're carrying unforgiveness toward a person in your heart, you're still tied to them, and they can still abuse you through your own memories of what they did to you. And you know, the funny thing is, he went into care not long after I finished this process. And the night before he died, I was living in Washington, D.C. at the time, and my mother had called and told me that he was close to the end, so I'd flown in, and I went to the care facility where he was, and I asked for some alone time, and I went in there, and I told him everything I felt, and then I told him that I forgave him. And he opened his eyes, and he looked at me, and tears just flowed down his cheeks. He remembered. He couldn't speak, but I could tell that he remembered. And that time with him was very healing, and he died in the wee hours that next morning. So I got to do that. And I was very blessed. I also got to do it with my mother. Yeah. And that was also extremely healing for me. Yeah. Healthy expression of emotion. Yeah. It was very healing. So, journaling is a good way and a healthy way to express any emotion. It really is. I highly recommend it. Another way of positively dealing with emotions that you've stuffed down for years is talk therapy. And I know that this is probably difficult for a lot of you, especially in this economy and in this country. We don't prioritize mental health in the United States of America. Insurance, if you have it, often doesn't cover it or doesn't cover very much. And money is tight. So, if you cannot afford a licensed therapist and you don't have a friend that's trusted or a mentor person in your life that you trust, because this person you have to trust completely. They either have to be a professionally licensed person that is bound by law to keep your trust and keep your secrets, or they need to be someone that you know will keep your secrets, because you don't want somebody going around blabbing all your shit. That's not a good friend. So, if you don't have that in your life right now, ask the universe to put someone like that in your path and help you. Talk therapy has been one of the most helpful things that I have done next to journaling. It's talk therapy, journaling. Those two things have benefited me the most on this healing journey. Just saying. Okay, we're going to get into the exercise now, the second exercise, and it is called Letting Your Emotions Out. You might want to take notes. We're not going to do the exercise together because you're there and I'm here and we can't talk about it. But if you want to take notes, I'm going to hopefully provide a little bit more understanding and clarification than I did in the book. I thought I did a really good job, but maybe not. Okay. So first, you're going to get your notebook or journal, a pen, and probably a box of Kleenex would be a good idea. Find a quiet space that you're not going to be disturbed, and make sure you have time to really do this exercise, okay? And like all the other exercises, you may have to do it a couple of times. Connect with your spirit team and ground yourself. Remember, we have instruction on that in the index at the back of the book. Take 3 deep cleansing breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. You can take more than 3. 3 usually works for me to calm the anxiety that I feel when I'm about to tackle something that's a little difficult. And then look back at the list that you made in the first exercise. So let's flip back there. The list would be, your spirit team showed you areas that need healing. Whatever pops into your mind, write it down. So you should have made a list. And like I said yesterday, don't try to do it in one sitting because there might be a whole lot of shit. So once you've finished all the times through that exercise, you'll be ready to do this one. And you want to look at that list, and then you want to think about, how do I feel when I'm reading this list? Do you feel mad? Write down what you're feeling. Do you feel sad? Write that down. And then express those emotions in a healthy way. Again, journaling is great. Trusted friend, mentor, therapist, talking to them, that's great. Talk to your spirit team. Rage at the universe if you must. Scream, yell, cry, pound your fists, whatever you need to do. You know, I remember pounding a pillow just over and over and over again, just pounding a pillow because I didn't want to hurt my hands. I play the piano, so. And I'm a writer, I type a lot. And then you repeat that as much as you need to, as often, as many times as you need to. Okay? And then once you're finished, with this. Each time you leave it, even if you know you're going to have to come back to it, each time you leave it, burn your sage or your Palo Santo or both. I burn both. And incense. And I have a selenite wand. I also have a ruby zoisite wand. It's around here somewhere. And I clear my energy. And you know why we do that. You don't want to take any of these emotions that you've dredged up to bed with you. You don't want to go to bed feeling all, ugh. You don't want to go interact with other people feeling all, ugh. You need to clear that energy, deal with that. Ask your spirit team to help you deal with that. Yeah. And once you are done with that, then you can go about your life, whether you're going to bed or going to interact with other people. And like I said, this exercise will likely need to be repeated many, many times. And one thing you need to take away from this is that going forward, processing your emotions in real time, in the moment that you're feeling it in a healthy fashion, is really vitally important to staying stable. Say what you need to say if someone disrespects you. Set a boundary. Don't take it. And we will talk more about this in a later chapter about setting boundaries. But it's important. No longer accepting unacceptable behavior. It's vitally important to your mental well-being. And that's part of your healing journey too, that we'll get into later. But for now, just try. If someone really upsets you, don't react in anger. Take a step back and thoughtfully ponder. And then you can respond in a healthy manner. For instance, let's say John Smith comes up to you and says, you know, you should do this, this, and this because doing that is stupid. Don't say, what the fuck? Who the fuck do you think you are? Because that's just going to generate more bullshit. Stop. Look at John Smith and say, I don't appreciate you weighing in on something that's none of your business. I have it under control. Thank you very much. Or something like that. Do you see the difference? You're going to take him off guard, or her, or whomever it is, off guard. And they're not going to know. They expect you to react in anger, not to thoughtfully respond. So, prove them wrong. You dynamic, wonderful creature. Prove them wrong. Be your best self. Plant those good seeds. Express your emotions in the moment in a healthy way. And you will be much happier. We're through with this key and exercise. Tomorrow, we're going to start the third key, recognizing patterns and triggers, why you do the things you do. So, be prepared for that. And I'll see you next time. Love y'all.